Good morning. Welcome to the Power Suite. I'm your host, Kendra Hayward, and
LaShayna Wilder.
And we are here today to talk about all things business related. So,
right.
welcome.
What
y'all been up to? How y'all doing? How was your day?
Oh, Father God, in the name of Jesus.
Is it coming to like a big weekend? Coming up on a big weekend? You got any plans?
I just want to sleep.
Oh, okay.
Well,
that's nice too. We can sleep. I don't mind a nap. Listen, that'll help me get my life together. I would sleep a lot more.
I just want to sleep. So, sometimes when people are in this little crisis mode, some people regress and they just kind of run away, and then other people, dip in all kinds of stuff. So today we're going to talk about career identity crisis.
Ooh, girl. The crisis is
navigating
real.
Your way through a career identity crisis.
Yes. Talk about it.
So what do you think that is first?
What I think it is personally is it's when someone in the workforce is stuck in a job they don't like.
Boom.
And they want to get out of it.
Why? Okay. You had mentioned, some things about asking those questions, that why question.
Yes.
So I came up with a few points.
Okay.
Of course.
Tell me about it.
All right. One, I, did a little bit of research, and they said one point was enmeshment. I like the term enmeshment. And career identity. So I, of course, digging a little bit deeper. What is enmeshment? I personally define it as not being able to fully give those boundaries, right? Healthy boundaries. But the way it's defined is it refers to a situation where boundaries between an individual and their work becomes blurred, leading to a lack of stable and independent sense of self.
No fulfillment.
So if you are paid from 9 to 5, and you find on your, Microsoft meeting at 6 o'clock, what are you going to do? The first time that you allow that 6 o'clock meeting after hours, okay. The second time, okay. Do you allow it the first time? Or say, your family has an emergency and you gotta go to work.
There's a family emergency that's going to happen on Thursday at 6 o'clock.
No, what I'm saying,
I'm not going to be available.
Like in the middle of all of that, right?
Yeah.
And you feel pulled, should I take care of my family? Oh, we don't have enough, we need to be at work. But yeah, so that's one thing that can lead to career identity crisis. It's enmeshment, just not having those clear boundaries. Have you ever experienced that?
Yes.
In what way? Is it just, your time, or how have you experienced that? Lack of boundary when it comes to work. I'm talking professionalism.
Lack of boundaries in the work profession is almost always related to time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Trading time for dollars.
Yes, I could agree with that. It's
either time or the quantity of what has to be
work
completed.
Yes,
within a time
That's what
frame.
I was thinking. Your responsibilities
confined. Yeah. So they give you your regular work hours 9 to 5, right? But typically you might have to do 100 calls, from 9 to 5.
Right.
But when they're in a crunch and they're pushing results, gotta get these calls and blah blah blah. If you work in a call center or something like that, they increase that 100 to like 1,000, and you only have
the same
time frame to do it. So it's still related to time,
right?
Unrealistic expectations.
Right. So how do you address that? How would you address that? to your management, say like an email or phone call or a conference or a conversation?
I think for me, what I would ask immediately, I would love to help with that. What's the goal? I need to know the goal. Well, we need to get this done. Do you mind me asking? I want to make sure that I can help and support the team in a way that's going to be helpful to everyone and, effective.
Right. Because if I am
How are we going
concentrating
to
my
achieve
time
that?
in this area,
Yeah.
and the goal is this, then I think my time needs to be more, utilized in a way
In a
that we
different
can,
way.
move to the goal.
Or
I get that.
can we have a roundtable discussion on how the team can better meet the needs
Right.
of the company, XYZ company, efficiently? Have we looked at the data?
Outside of saying, I
ain't doing it.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah.
How do you say? Or do you feel comfortable in saying that's too much?
Right.
Some people, again, we talked about this before, we're taught, just, stay in the background, don't rustle no feathers, don't do all of that. But saying, that's too much.
A little bit beyond my scope of work.
Right, there you go.
That's corporate jargon that I don't like to say, but
that's actually
beyond my scope of work.
Yeah. You better find out.
And so for that reason, I'm going to log off, or I'm going to do XYZ, or I'm going to better help the team and support the team by doing this because I feel like this may be a better asset. It could also always be a discussion. I think everything should be up for discussion.
So what do you do when you're in a spot where you feel like you can't do that or your job would be threatened? What do you do when it's like, you either do this or not have a job? When
I would go back to the mission statement and the vision of the company.
Gotcha.
I would pull a sucker out quickly. We're going to go to the website.
Yeah.
We're typing it in,
Okay.
Well, based on our vision and mission statement here, and we can always talk about the relationship that we want to build with our employees and how important it is for us to be able to collaborate and blah, 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 blah. All the things, we're going to talk about it. We're going to put your language in my mouth and I'm going to regurgitate it to you and remind you. You say it. How people are like, Lord, your word said. I'm going to be like, XYZ company.
You say
your handbook says.
But see, that's the thing, like, and then they start feeling away, right?
Absolutely.
And that's another part of, this is the next point as far as that burnout goes. Next point is identity cohesion versus role confusion is one thing that kind of heightens the career identity crisis. So you just want to say, the hell with it all. I'm out.
I'm out of here.
I'm out.
Count me out.
I'm out.
We're not doing it.
That's it.
But you need to have an exit strategy. If you're gonna do this.
Yeah.
Please.
Oh, yeah.
At least have some money saved up.
Something.
So, yeah.
But I mean, of course, we don't want to get to that. So putting those boundaries in place, like I said, we always have a goal in our podcast to give people actionable steps, right? So one, recognizing and putting those boundaries in place respectfully, but putting those boundaries in place and not be afraid to do that. And avoid identity cohesion and role confusion. The last point,
role confusion.
Yeah. That's when I'm doing your job, your job, your job, and your job.
And so we need to have a meeting.
Oh, yes.
That's when we definitely need to talk about.
Oh, yeah. But then again, it's different when, say, you just want to be able to add to the overall success of the team, right? So if you see a leak in the ship, right, and you make suggestions to your leadership on how to better, propel things forward, I think that's different from giving me this assignment or having me take on this role of, being an administrator and, a bookkeeper, and I'm trying to do the time cards for everybody, and I'm accounts receivable, and then I'm, payroll, and I'm that's a bit much. If that's the case, then I think it's reasonable to ask for, more money.
Compensation.
I think it's reasonable.
All day long.
But again, we get stuck in thinking if you don't, then you're not a member of the team, you're not a team player, da 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 da. So how do you address employers, or how do you address? No, serious though. Like, how do you address that amongst them? Like,
how do I address?
Feeling like you are being assigned multiple roles when the lines are blurred, and you feel overwhelmed to where you're about to just be out. Before that happens.
I think it's important to have a relationship where you can at least speak with your supervisor or manager and say, I feel overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm. But you can't handle it. Okay, boom, role play.
Oh my God.
This is it. Go ahead. Come on.
LaShayna.
Yes.
I feel overwhelmed. I appreciate that you find that I am the person that can handle these different tasks, and I am more than happy to help the team. However, at this current state of responsibility, I feel like I am overwhelmed, and where I cannot give 100% to all of the tasks that you're giving, and then as a result, my work will not be adequately up to standard for what you're expecting.
So are you not fit for this role? I mean, so are you not, available, or is this just too much for you? Is this over what you are capable of doing?
Well, what is the role that you're expecting?
Okay. That's a good comeback. I like that. I expect I'm expect okay, because if you say, okay, boom, okay.
You want me to do it again?
Do it again.
Okay. Good. So what is the role that you're expecting?
I'm expecting you as an employee here to be able to fulfill the tasks that are assigned to you. If you're here in our operations department, I expect that you are able to have your hand in each part of the operations of this company. Are you not able to fulfill that?
Well, it depends on what you're asking me to do. Are you asking me to facilitate operational duties? Are you asking me to oversee operational duties? Or are you asking me to complete all operational duties?
I think you need to facilitate. And I think
that's why I'm like, I'm going.
Yeah.
Because you know what I'm saying? Like, after a while, when you have them answering questions for you, you're not being rude. You're just having a conversation.
Right.
And I tell my daughter this all the time. Right. Like, conversations are necessary. Right. You have to be able to clear conversation. Yes. You're not being rude.
Right.
What are you expecting?
Right.
Well, do you want me to do all things?
Right.
And if this is
or specify
which part am I doing? Am I responsible for all operations?
Right.
And facilitating, and overseeing, and reporting, and maintaining relationships.
Make it make sense.
Okay. Because if you hear yourself after a while, that they're gonna say, "Wow, I am putting a lot."
Right.
And they're gonna say, "Oh, I get what you're saying."
Right. The last thing, that was a good point. That was good. So, especially for new professionals out there.
And they be getting y'all
too.
too.
Especially for new professionals.
Gen Z, girl, they just be around here working for free.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Getting cash apps.
But honestly,
for payment. Oh God.
Listen.
There are people out here doing it.
That is a real
people are out here paying new quote unquote employees.
Yes, through
Cash App.
Do it again.
Let me
catch you doing it.
I wish you would pay another generational Z
it's crazy.
person.
Yeah.
With a Cash App.
But again, that's why being in this network is important, because you have more experienced professionals that can feed into people, who coming up and saying, listen, have themselves become an open book so we can, learn and
absolutely
guide them and teach them. The last point.
Okay.
I thought this was interesting. It's mid-career dissatisfaction. So the research indicates that individuals with seemingly successful careers grow dissatisfied in their jobs in their mid-40s. So seemingly successful careers. So what does that mean?
Oh man. No, well, that's just more pretending to be who you're not.
That code switch.
Only that code. I mean, just, I've always been this. I don't know anything else.
Right.
I'm too old to learn anything else.
That's a lie.
I've always been the accountant here.
Lies. So you can't do nothing else?
I don't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Well, there's plenty of things that you do.
Right.
Within your job.
Right.
And that's a good point to bring up too, because within any job, you complete multiple things in different manners. So if you're an accountant, you have to be organized. You have to understand how to work computer software programs. You have to be clear with your reporting. You have to be able to analyze reports. So you're not just an accountant.
Right.
You can also be an operations person. You can also be project management. That's how I got into my field. Like, I literally transferred from all those things into operations right now because I did all of the things. I felt like at one point in life, I was doing
all of the things.
Everything.
Listen.
I mean, you name it.
Yeah.
Building a website,
Yeah.
marketing, everything. Yeah. Just everything related to it. Payroll, taxes, like you have to understand it all. You gain a skill. And so take that with whatever you're working in or whatever field or industry you're working in. If you are in the trades, if you're in trades, right? Well, you have to work with someone. You probably work with a team.
Yes.
I'm sure you're not out here building homes by yourself. And if you are, you're not doing it for very long because they're going to pull permits. So that's the next thing. You got to know how to fill out permits.
That part.
You have to know and understand ordinances within any community. You're not just a contractor. You have to understand permitting, understanding the city laws and ordinances and all these things.
Yeah, we sell ourselves short because we get comfortable in what we know.
Right.
So, that's easy. That's simple. I just do that.
Right. We'll use that just term so often.
But not realizing how much value you can bring to a lot of different industries.
Yes. Yes. And I feel like if you want to be, or if you are in your career and you're in your 40s or 30s or 20s, wherever you are, and you want to change or shift from what you're currently doing, analyze what you do on a daily basis. Find the part that you really enjoy. Like if you're a musician and you don't, I'll just use myself as an example. I am also a musician. I can play the piano and play the organ. I prefer not to play the organ. But I can play now you put me in front of the piano, I'm fine. You give me an organ, I'm gonna be like, here we go. I don't want to do it.
Why we finish each other's sentences?
We really do. I told you. Here we go. I don't want to do it.
Right.
But okay. Now, am I singing with a choir? I'm good with it. Like, well, you know what I'm saying? We both sing with the choir, praise team. Like, yeah, that's good. Like, but you gotta find your thing. Do I write music? No, I don't. I don't write a song. Don't give you a lyric. Nope. Tell me the words because I'm gonna forget anyway.
That's how I go.
I'm not gonna remember the words, so I don't need to write anybody's song.
It was funny you said that because I remember when I first started in medicine, right? And I was working alongside, one of the ER docs, and he's amazing. I love him. But he said to me, I'm green, right? I'm just getting out of school. Excited about life, girl. Just, nervous, but, excited. He said, Shayna, you're going to have to find something else to do. I look at him like, why I got to find something else to do? You've been doing this for 20-something years. You ain't finding nothing else to do. So, of course, green, right? Real immature. So I started listening to what he was saying, and he was like, I give you 5 years, and you going to need to find something else to do. And so I asked him, well, why you didn't find something else to do? What he was trying to teach me was burnout is real.
Yes.
Right? So he said, in 5 years, you're going to want to quit. You're going to have to find something else that you want to do outside of medicine. Okay. Tell me more. Like after that, I was like, okay, tell me more.
Right.
And he was really just trying to teach me to not limit myself in one space, to be open to other opportunities, because once you get burned out, then you start hating it, and that's what you don't
The
want.
resentment, the
Right.
hate, the,
You start
I gotta go to
resenting-
work.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he was like 5 years. And listen, in 4.5, I was thinking, did I make the right decision?
Right.
I love what I do, right? Absolutely, I do. I love what I do. But this thing here, I mean, your body ain't set up for this on the long term. You know what I'm saying? So I just was like, maybe I do need to find something else to do. And that's how I started, being open to the fact of, developing LeJewel. So I said, well, Dr. Clark, thank you for that. Because it was one of the most profound statements. At the same time, I had to learn to just listen to what he was trying to tell me.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I'm grateful. So we have talked about all of the things, right? The lack of boundaries, the, mesh of identifying the roles versus what you, truly want to do. We've talked about dissatisfaction. So how do we revamp ourselves? How do we get back into being in the place where we tick and what makes us happy when it comes to our
So
career?
going from like a trigger to finding your real passion.
Right.
Ooh, in my experience, I found that you have to be able to analyze.
You just can't help it.
I gotta say analyze.
You can't help
But
it.
okay, so I won't say analyze, but you do need to think about
Right.
why you're unhappy where you are.
Okay,
Like
okay.
what makes you upset.
Okay.
And I
can
think
see
we
that.
talked in like last week's podcast
Mhm.
about triggers, right? Like what's a pet peeve that kind of makes you upset.
Right.
So when you get to the point where everything is a pet peeve,
That's burnout. That's
you're
a sign of
completely burnt out.
burnout. Yeah, that's a sign of burnout.
So you have to
You
recognize.
looking at me,
Why
right?
are you in here getting my coffee?
Yeah, you
Like,
yeah.
are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's
I
burnout.
get here first. You park my parking space.
Ooh, that's my thing. Why you in my spot?
When you controlling the parking lot and the tape dispenser.
That's my thing.
That's my tool. You don't use my keyboard. When you get real possessive over
Yeah.
stuff.
Why you in my spot?
Yeah.
That spot thing is real for me.
It
though.
is real, however, comma.
You're right. It's burnout.
It is burnout.
Yeah.
So you have to recognize where you are. And then find out where you enjoy your time.
Right.
Like, when are you most relaxed?
Right.
Like, right now, I'm relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
We just sitting here, we just
Chill.
talking.
Yeah.
I like to talk.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy having conversations. So this is heaven for me. This is like, ooh, Jesus, thank you, Lord. We can just sit here and talk all day
But
about
if you
everything.
in the charts,
The
and
charts
graphs,
sometimes, can be very hectic for
right,
me
it can.
because they can't be wrong. And if they're wrong, you're like, oh my God, I gotta fix it because they're using this information for analyzation and we gotta know if the department can and how can we because,
What they do?
you want to know these metrics, what are the KPIs?
Right,
and what are the indicators letting us know if this is really working? What did the surveys say? If I see that survey.
Right. It's true. It's true.
Listen, how many
KPIs
times
is a thing.
when I tell you they are,
I don't think some people was like, what the hell is a KPI?
yeah. They just let you know what people are really thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you get a survey at McDonald's, how was your experience?
Right.
Was your cashier nice or no?
Right.
Or, they'll say strongly agree. Or I think it's like 4 or 5 stars they'll give you, right? So 5 stars is perfect. 4 stars is good, but not, strive for better. 3, 2, 1 is a no-go, right? They don't want those at all. And they'll accept a 4, but they really want a 5.
5, right.
So they want to know why they can't get a 5.
Mm-hmm.
So once you answer that first 4,
they're gonna ask
why we get a 4.
Right. They're gonna ask.
well, my fries was your food hot?
Right. You get all of those.
Those are called indicators. That will let them know, that will indicate to them why you gave a 4.
Right.
And then it will then indicate to you what you didn't like about it. Like, because if you're the customer, you'll have to know, well, why did I give him a 4?
Right.
Well, I gave him a 4 because the food was cold.
Right.
That's why I gave y'all a 4.
And it does help a business try to improve on those areas.
So it's necessary. However, it can be stressful.
It can.
If there are people, or if your business is depending on that information.
Or if your check is. There are some rules, and some people that's in the network to where their paycheck depends on that 5. If they don't get a 5 in that survey, they don't get their pay.
Their pay, their bonus, all kinds of stuff. And sometimes people
that's
pay.
Stressful. And that you talk about career identity crisis.
Yeah.
That would have somebody in burnout really quickly. I was, as far as how to revamp and how to get back, I'm just real simple. I think, what do I like to do? What do I like? Personally, what do I like to do? I like meeting people. I like serving people. I like taking care of people. Period. That's what I like to do. If I'm not in that space, I feel disconnected. I feel like, so if I can't do that, then I'm good. Yeah. Like, to be in an administrative role, as well as, actually doing those things, as far as interacting with people, if I can't, that's why I decided not to do research. I just,
you'll be disconnected from people.
I just can't sit in the lab and look at charts and do that. I can't. That's just not me. So now there's a career in research that is a very lucrative one. However, Karma,
because it's the thing nobody wants to do.
Oh yes. However,
let your research be wrong.
Right. Right. I'm good. I had to pass. And that's another thing. Another point that I think the revamp is knowing where you can say no. Like, that's just not for me. Like, I'm cool. I don't have to be that person.
Right. My skills are better suited in this area.
Right. So self-reflection and self-identification, that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
I think it'll help with the revamp.
Yes.
What else we got?
I would say, in addition to the self-search and self-revamp, you have to be willing to see what's out there.
Yeah, that's true.
There's so many careers that you wouldn't even think of.
That's true. And there's no rules to say that you can't do both things. Absolutely. Who says you can't, run a business and be a model? You know what I'm saying? Like, who says that you can't?
Who said you can't do it?
Yeah,
But you have to know that the option is there to do, and that comes from research. Sure. Maybe sometimes taking, you see these career analysis, I don't know what they're called. They're not surveys, but they're like assessments to see what career path you would do well in. Oh, yeah, I know.
If
it's trades. And then there's so many things within trades nowadays. You can be the skilled electrician that only specializes in
like commercial buildings.
Or you specialize in that kind of stuff. Or it could be like, an engineer and there's so many types of engineers. A popular one is computer engiiner, but there's also civil engineers. What's the ones for the railroads?
Oh, not locomotive, but I forget what it's called.
Okay, that one. And then, the sky's the limit when it comes to that kind of stuff. And then there are people that make this, like, they create it. A computer engineer makes a computer. Literally, that's what they do. They engineered it. They put it together. Yeah. The software engineer, they create the software for the computer components. So...
yeah. It's just limitless. And not capping yourself might be the revamp too. Like not
Yes.
putting a cap on what you are
No boxes.
capable of doing.
Free. You are free to decide to be whatever you want and chase whatever career.
I mean, you hear
You think you would do,
4
though.
or 5 years old, you think you can do whatever you want to do. But it's true.
Yeah.
You really can.
Pay attention to what you look at on TV.
Yeah.
Pay attention to that stuff. Like just little things.
Yeah. True. That is
So
true.
if you like to read, what kinds of books do you read?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like reading content? There are people out there that read for a living.
Yeah. I was just about to say, you get paid to just read.
You want to read? Read to me. Put me to sleep. Y'all know Tabitha Brown had that
Listen,
thing out there?
It was Abide.
morning,
I think it was an
sweetheart.
Abide app. And I'm telling you, I fell asleep a couple of times.
Absolutely. Sit right there and go to sleep.
Was it
Sounds
Abide
good.
or was it what's the other app?
I don't know.
I don't want to call these people name and call
Yeah,
them
because
wrong.
then they would get copyright for
Yeah.
infringement. But
yeah,
but
we
there's-
don't own that. We don't
own it. We don't. None of it.
None of it. We don't have anything to do. We're not sponsoring. It's not sponsored.
this is not a
paid.
sponsored video.
None of that. Nothing.
I get demonetized.
Yeah.
We ain't even monetized. Oh Lord, that's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, pay attention to what you do, what you like, what you spend a lot of time on. And a lot that will help you figure out your shift. And the final thing I would suggest:
What's that?
get a coach.
Oh yeah, that's a good tip. That is
Get a career coach.
That's a good tip.
They'll guide you. They should give you like a 3-month plan.
Mm-hmm.
And you set realistic goals. Okay, your first month, you're going to do research on what you think you would want to do. Your second step is create a resume, an outline of, or maybe a CV of, what you've done, your skill set, and then go to some networking events.
Yeah.
Go to this meetup. Go to the Chamber of Commerce.
Right.
Go somewhere that you typically wouldn't go. You're going to have to go. If you haven't picked it up, you're going to have to go. You can't sit where you are, complain, and be complacent or upset about where you are.
Absolutely.
Burnt out, tired, worn out, frustrated with work, frustrated with coworkers, frustrated with not knowing what you don't know, all of these things. And nothing gets done, or it gets done in a mediocre way, and you're like, this was subpar.
Yeah. I get that. That's a good tip. I don't even think about a career coach, but when it comes to business, everybody got a business coach, right?
Yeah, business.
And the coach got a coach too.
Everybody got a coach.
Everybody got a coach. So that embracing that journey of self-exploration on several different levels, being open to look into those spaces that are uncomfortable, doing those things that are uncomfortable. I think that's it.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So comment below what you're going to do next, okay? Are you going to get your career coach, or are you going to stay in your job and be complacent?
Or are you going to be the, ambassador for change in your job to where you as well as your coworkers will be, more likely to stay.
Find ways to enhance your current position.
Absolutely.
Your current job. Find some ways to make it better. That's a good point. Absolutely.
I think that right there is on the revamp list too.
Revamps.
Yeah, all day. Well, next week we'll see y'all. And head to www.urbanmasterclassnetwork.com. That's where you need to go.
Did they hear you? Did they hear you?
www.urbanmasterclassnetwork.com.
Yeah.
That's where you go. Join the network.
Join the network. Tell a friend about our podcast.
Yes.
Go to all of our platforms. Instagram, Facebook.
Oh, and once you get in the network, the board.
Use the board that's in there. Once you become a part of our subscription, right? It was where we have an interactive board where you can talk to other and collaborate and speak with other network users.
Find out what you need to know.
Absolutely.
Find out where you need to go.
Yeah. Your answer is in our network. I promise
is.
you. So y'all check it out. If you have any questions, we want to hear from you. So comment below, share, subscribe, all the things. Peace.
Bye.